A vibrant city is the backdrop to a vibrant life. Fun under an Indiana sky, distinct dining, industry, jobs, a community gateway, all made possible by tax increment financing, TIF.
We're competing with cities much, much larger than us. So we've got to be able to put together a toolbox that at least puts us at a level playing field. And one of those tools is TIF financing.
The TIF is the guarantee. It's the biggest tool in the box. Sometimes I think it was the only tool in the box.
I think people would be surprised if they understood how much the TIF tool has been used in this community to move forward some of the projects that everybody loves.
Our assessed values went up 5 times since we've started leveraging our TIF dollars, and when those assessed values go up, that really helps your schools.
Keeping tax increment financing as the tool that it is to make these projects happen for job creation, quality of place, talent attraction is absolutely essential for the state of Indiana.
TIF is sometimes a hard concept for people to get their arms around. Basically, nothing happens if you don't build things.
Tax increment financing is an economic development tool that helps a business pay for improvements within a targeted geographical area of a county, city, or town, a TIF district. A business pays taxes on its property. When the property becomes part of a TIF district, new taxes generated from improvements to the property go into the TIF fund. These funds are used for additional infrastructure the business needs, like roads, water, sewer, and more. TIF is used for construction of buildings or other private enhancements, or to pay for public improvements such as better streets and sidewalks. TIF can also be utilized for acquiring land, job training programs, and raising or renovating buildings. More than 1,000 TIF projects exist in communities across Indiana. Community gateways, repurposed historic buildings, projects that retain or attract jobs. And in Fort Wayne, Indiana, an innovative mixed-use development that includes a ballpark.
Opening day for the Fort Wayne Tin Caps was April 16th, 2009. I remember it like it was yesterday. We actually, on the field, had the best minor league team in over 30 years. At that point, we won 101 games, won the only Midwest League championship. But more than that, it was the first step of the revitalization of downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana.
A city's downtown, its center and heart, hums with an energy to be valued and cultivated. When a downtown thrives, a community thrives.
That was a pretty distressed part of our downtown area, so it was a pretty logical move to take that and do something with it.
So we had some very heavy hitters in the business community who probably don't give a rip about baseball, understood that having a new product downtown that would help them attract new workforce, retain their current workforce, was the genesis for this. As one of our redevelopment directors said at the time, it's a matter of math. The ballpark out here gets about 150,000 people. Now, what if we had 150,000 people walking around downtown Fort Wayne? That's got to be better for retail, dining, the town, exposure, everything. But selling that idea to citizens was brutal.
It could not have happened without TIF. We had a district available to us with enough income over time to bond what we needed to pay for the ballpark itself. And it was only through redevelopment and the use of TIF and the catalyst of Harrison Square that the entire downtown is totally rejuvenated.
White Lodging, who has properties all over this state, said, hey, we are gonna build a downtown Hampton that is gonna rival any Hampton in the country, and it does. And we love the ball and the measurement on the side and the rooftop lounge, the awesome burger bar, and then their statue of Johnny Appleseed, you know, sitting on the park bench where I don't know how many hundred people a day get their picture taken next to that. It's that little character stuff that really goes a long way, and it's been great.
There's all sorts of synergies going on. The hotel has helped the Grand Wayne Center, our convention center, to be much more productive in bringing in much larger events than they had in the past.
Beautiful restored Embassy Theater that today is used over and over by traveling shows, concerts. It added to that dynamics of downtown, all spurred on by this Harrison Square project.
The business leaders and the political people believed in it, and it happened. And the amazing thing now is some 12, 13 years later, over my shoulder, well over $500 million in projects now. If we didn't have the guts to do this project, the rest probably wouldn't have happened.
TIF helps with many types of mixed-use developments, including retail, entertainment, hotels, or in Jasper, Indiana, a beautiful urban living space.
River Center was somewhat of an eyesore here in Jasper. It was called the old Jasper Cabinet Building. 231 brought me by this building that I wondered what the heck happened. I asked the mayor of Jasper, what do you see in the future for that building, and how can we form a partnership?
The new mayor at the time, Terry Seitz, had a vision that it could be something else, and really a vision for this entire area. So we created what was called the Downtown and Riverfront Master Plan.
As we walked through the old buildings to see if they could be renovated, there was a lot of dreaming going on. When we came down to it, we said, this could work. This could really be something unique.
It became pretty apparent that there was going to have to be some kind of incentive available for use in these potential projects. So that really began our journey of establishing our first TIF locally.
The TIF was one of the most important parts of the decision to build and go forward with River Center. Without the TIF, we couldn't have kept the history here. River Center kept the main structure of the building.
Along our, what we call a river, it was just nothing but brush, and it wasn't used as an asset. So we built the Jasper River Walk, and we have the mill, which is to replicate a mill that used to reside at that location.
River Center's theme is live, work, and play. And in a small town such as Jasper, that's a lifestyle no one has ever seen before.
There was a lot of pushback, and a lot of that was based on the idea that we were going to somehow be using that TIF to take dollars away from other entities. And so that began a huge process of educating.
It has really attracted the younger generation back home to Jasper, which energizes the city again. We have amenities such as with the Patoka behind us and the Tim Clark Cultural Library across the street. We have the train system. We have the ability to walk downtown.
If it wouldn't have been for TIF being in place and allowing us to build the infrastructure there around the facility with the roads, sidewalks, we'd still be looking at an old dilapidated building.
We get calls now, certainly on a weekly basis, maybe on a daily basis, from prospective developers interested in various types of projects.
And now as people come into the community and they look at those, they say, wow, I can't believe this is my hometown.
When Greendale, Indiana's well-established Queen City Candy was acquired by Beterra Brands in 2018, the company began to look at moving out of the community. Greendale needed to act quickly to retain this industry that was so critical to its economy.
Queen City Candy is our third largest utility customer, electric utility customer. They're one of our largest employers we have in the city. So it's very important that they stay here.
So we sat down, we worked with them, and we said, what can we do for them to make them stay here? And we came up with a great deal, we think.
This project at Queen City and Beterra is perfect to explain that without those TIF incentives, this project wouldn't have happened in Greendale. It would have been most likely in Texas.
We took a look at what it is they were offering as far as incentives and other ways that they could help us, whether it's employment help or land or permitting and that sort of thing. And they're probably not aware of this, but their incentive funds were at the top tier of what was being offered. First and foremost, that was very helpful. It made most sense to stay here.
We knew we were giving them a great package. We didn't know how great, but in our minds it was a great package. And when they stayed, we were really excited to see them stay and grow.
In Lafayette, Indiana, TIF was used to attract companies and create new employment opportunities.
There's a lot of things that take place for a community to create an environment where jobs can be created, where the private sector can feel good about making investments in the community, being able to offer incentives that deal with machinery and equipment needs and training. All those things help fill in the gaps to make us competitive in a global marketplace. We're not just competing with the state across from us or a city down the road. We're competing with different countries and different cities, and TIF helps fill those gaps to get all those things done to make us shovel ready, to make us be able to react at the speed of business.
TIF was essential in swaying GE Aviation to select Lafayette as the location for its new facility.
Once we had selected the states that were going to compete for the GE's new home, we had selected down to the top 5, and then only after then did we really start looking at the incentive package between the state, the county, and the city. TIF was a big piece of that, and it helped GE select this site as one of the sites to consider.
When a company is proposing to expand or locate here in this community, the incentive package includes not only Greater Lafayette Commerce, the City of Lafayette, the City of West Lafayette, Tippecanoe County, and the state of Indiana. We provide a uniform incentive package inclusive of all of those entities.
GE Aviation coming is certainly just a wonderful opportunity for the Greater Lafayette area. The college has an aviation technology program, and it's designed to prepare persons to work specifically in aviation facilities such as GE Aviation.
And so TIF gives us that ability to do that in a way that actually supports the private sector, that allows them to be competitive in a global marketplace.
Franklin, Indiana worked to bring their downtown back to life using TIF, but then needed to draw foot traffic into the heart of the historic town.
The major corridor from I-65 into our town, into our community. You wouldn't know we had this amazing historic downtown square from the interchange. It was not inviting, it was not welcoming.
Out by I-65 and our main gateway into the community, it was blighted. So we embarked upon some blight remediation.
The result that we have has not just helped that area, it's helped the whole city. It's huge. Every time I talk to businesses, they are really impressed on how we used our TIF dollars the right way to invest in ourselves.
We get so many people using those trails. It not only looks nice, but it's being used.
Fast forward to today, and we have a couple of nice chain hotels out by the interchange that are busy. And I think the biggest piece of all of this is talk about the assessed value, and the growth of our assessed value as the lifeblood of any community has grown 5 times since this project started.
And when those assessed values go up, that really helps your schools. And our schools and our city, we work really well together to make us a better city.
Often there's a misconception that TIF takes away from public schools. But schools do not lose tax dollars to TIF funds as long as the but-for test is met. But for TIF, this project would not occur. A school produces a budget based on tax dollars it receives from the school district. When a TIF district is created for a new project that's within the school district, the taxes on only the new improvements for the project go toward the TIF fund for this development. After the TIF district expires, these taxes are added to the original tax base. Additional money only became available because of the new project, a project that wouldn't have happened without TIF.
We want the school to consider this as part of their own toolbox, so that if they have a project that they believe would be eligible for a use of TIF dollars, we want them to come and talk to us about what that could look like and how we could help. That's the goal, because we are all in this together.
When civic and business leaders work together, tax increment financing is available to transform a region and its people. Indiana's statute for a TIF project requires the but-for test be met, that without the use of TIF, this renovation, building, riverwalk, or other development would not have happened.
There's absolutely no question that Fort Wayne would not have Harrison Square, and every single individual component that makes up Harrison Square would not exist but for tax increment financing.
I can say with certainty that River Center would not be here if we did not have TIF available.
The opportunities that we had out by the interstate, out on I-65, were made available to us only through the use of TIF. If we didn't have tax increment financing, it would not have been made available.
TIF is vital to us having been able to bring businesses in, retain businesses, help businesses grow. If we didn't have that money, we would have lost out on a couple businesses.
Unless we as communities have something to bring to the table, a true economic environment that's healthy and growing for a city will never occur.